Hey, I'm Joe Filippone. I'm 34 years old, and I'm an actor, voice actor, novelist, and now horror movie director here in Los Angeles, California.
Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me
course.
today. I appreciate it. And invite me into your home. I feel so special.
Of course, of course. I feel like I always feel self-conscious when I have people come into the room because it's like it's small, cluttered. I have like all this stuff everywhere with like the bookshelves. So I'm like, oh my god, what are they gonna think? They're gonna be like, hello, 1-800-Hoarders. We've got we got a 3-episode one for you. And I'm self-conscious because I've got the suitcase on the bed. Like me and my friends were going on a trip. Like literally, they're picking me up right after I'm done with this. So I'm like,
I love though. No, and there's no reason to be self-conscious, but that does lead me into the first question that I like to ask to start off these interviews. What do you think people's first impression of you is?
I think people are shocked when they first come in here because I see the looks. They're like, oh my god, because there's just so much stuff that people don't know where to look. So it's like I'll have friends over to watch a movie or just to talk and catch up, and I see them drifting. They're like, oh, it's like the little kid, like, hey, come on, let's stay focused. I've had friends that have been over here like multiple times, like 10 times or whatever, and then they'll all of a sudden just like gasp and be like, I never noticed that before. What is that? And then like, go walk around and all that stuff.
You talked about in your answer to the question about the first impression and just all the things you have going on and all the things you do. Are you from LA originally?
No, I'm originally from Denver.
Okay, so what brought you to LA?
Acting. And I always wanted to be an actor ever since I was a little kid. And that was always the fight that I had with my mother and father. Like most kids when they're, 5 years old, they're arguing with the parents like, I want another cookie. I want to stay up late. I was always like, I want to go to LA and I want to act. I want to be an actor. Like, imagine this, like, 7-year-old child telling their parents, you're ruining my life because you won't let me go to LA, because my mother and father were like, you're not going to be the breadwinner. You're going to have a normal childhood. Because my parents are older. My parents are in their 70s now. So when they were growing up and when they were seeing movies and stuff, a lot of the movie stars that they grew up with and the TV stars, especially the kids, like they got into drugs, they committed suicide, and I was training police officers with crisis intervention, also working at Best Buy, and I was just unhappy. And so one day I was home, and I just typed in acting teachers in Los Angeles. And the first teacher who popped up was this woman named Adila Barnes, who is a wonderful actress, a wonderful acting teacher. And I looked at her website and I just sent her an email and I said, I want to move to LA. I don't know when this is going to happen, but I'm assume I need to get into an acting class to just, even though I've done acting out here and studied acting, figure it might be good to do it out here, learn from someone who's actually in the business in LA. And she wrote me back. She told me when her next classes were going to be. It was a 3-month acting course. And so I was like, all right, we're going to do it. I sent her the money. I came out here with a duffel bag, a backpack, no car. I still don't have a car 13 years later. Ha 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 ha. No place to live, no friends, no family. I stayed in a hostel for 3 months. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to be out in LA for 3 months to take this acting class, see if I liked it. Because I had come out to LA twice before on day trips to do a dance audition. And then I had other friends who came out here to do acting, and then the business and the city kind of chewed them up, spit them out, and they came home, 6 months later, bitter, jaded, all of that. So the end of the 3 months is coming, and I go out and audition for a play called Sex, Relationships, and Sometimes Love, and they hired me on the spot. And so I was like, okay, I'll stay out here another 6 weeks to do the play, because that's all it was supposed to be. And then 4 months later, I was at a casting director workshop, and it was run by a wonderful actor who sadly is no longer with us, Gary Dubin. And I was just doing all these casting director workshops with Gary, and he had different casting directors come in. And one day Gary asked me, he said, Joe, he said, you're very talented, but you don't have an agent, do you? And he said, I was looking at your resume, you don't have an agent. And I said, well, Gary, I've only been out here 3 months. He was like, you need an agent. You need to contact my friend Gail. Here's her phone number. So I contacted his friend Gail. She signed me. So then I was with Daily Planet. So I was like, well, I've got this agent now. I guess I have to stay here. But I was like, but this play's going to end. Now what am I going to do? Well, the play kept getting extended. And they kept asking me to come back and to keep doing the role, keep doing the role, keep doing the role. Eventually, they made me the assistant director as well, and I helped with casting. I ended up doing this play for 3.5 years. And it was a monologue show, and so we were doing 3 shows every Sunday night. And because I'm crazy, I would also be doing other plays. Because it was just a monologue show, and I could do that. I was only on for 1 monologue. So there would be some nights where I would go and do the first show, and then I would run down Sunset to the next stage theater off Sunset and La Brea. I would do that show, run back down to Sunset Gardner Stages, do the second monologue show, and then because Chris Berube at Next Stage really liked me and would put me in all of his stuff, and I would sometimes have to do like 2 shows there, run back down, do that, run back, do the last show, and then because I didn't drive, like figure out some way to get home.
I'm just visioning it, like I'm just visualizing you, and just, you know, when you see scenes in television shows or movies and they're sped up.
Yeah.
That's what I'm envisioning. Is literally this, like, you in speed mode. Like
that's how it felt a lot of the time. That's how it felt.
Oh, I'm sure. I want to rewind for a second.
Yeah.
You mentioned, you know, your original embarkation on LA and coming here and getting the play. But before you mentioned that, you said that some friends had come out here and tried it themselves, right?
Yeah.
And came home, like you said, a little discouraged.
Yeah.
My question is, how did that feel from your perspective? Did any of their experience, did they try to discourage you from having your own experience? What was your thought process seeing that?
Before I got out here, when they had come back, my thought process was, I hope that doesn't happen to me. Because I don't have a plan B. I don't have a backup plan. Acting, being creative, writing, entertaining, that's all I know how to do. That's all that I'm good at. That's I when I'm not doing it, I'm bored. So I've always said it's either make this acting show business thing work or become homeless. Like, there's nothing else. And I do think that's why I was able to succeed, because I didn't have anything to fall back on.
I love your answer, though, because I love that it wasn't, oh boy. I like that it was, I hope that doesn't happen to me. But in the back of your mind, I feel like even with that answer, that's not going to happen to me.
Yeah, and I think the difference also was a lot of the people that I knew who had come out here, they didn't have resumes. They didn't have experience. And like I said, I had been doing this in Denver. I had been going on auditions. I had been getting rejected. I had been, get the part, and then all of a sudden, oh no, you're fired because the director's brother wants it or whatever. So I was used to that, and I had read the books, the biographies on people, and the making it. So I didn't come out here with like stars in my eyes. I didn't come out here because it was like, oh, I'm a big fish in a small pond. And those were the people that I saw, especially sadly, a lot of my friends who were dancers who I danced with, that were like the stars of our studios, that were the teachers at our studios, that were like these big, like, oh my God, you're so talented, no one can do it to you. And then they get out here with all these other dancers that are equally as talented. Now I don't even know where half of them are.
But I like your passion about it, as you described the journey and coming out here and the milestones that you were hitting. Getting the play, having it get extended, having more responsibilities within that. And the growth in you must have been tremendous during that time.
And you have to have passion. And luckily, I feel like I'm just as passionate now at almost 35 as I was at 22 when I first came out here, and I still get excited, and I think that's why I've lasted almost 13 years, and why people want to talk to me, want to give me gigs, want to work with me, because I bring that excitement to the set. I don't bring problems. I don't, walk around with an ego. I, get to know everybody on set. I'll get to know the crew. Pre-COVID, what I used to do is when I was done with like a movie or a TV show, I would go through the call sheet. I'd find everybody's name that worked on the crew, and I would send everybody on the crew a thank you card.
That from what I hear, it's like the big picture part, right? And I think especially in acting, because it kind of is a you doing the job thing, I would assume that a lot of people could have tunnel vision there and do their role. Obviously, your role, if it's not a monologue show, would affect other people. But sometimes it's, I'm here to do this job, and that's it. And then I'm on to the next job. And the focus is, I'm doing this, but I need the next thing. And I just like that you understand that you never know when the next thing is going to be with the same people you're in the room with right now.
And you have to be open. I can't tell you how many of the jobs. I could probably go onto my IMDb and go through all of the things and be like, oh, I got this job because I worked with this person on this, or this person knew the director and recommended me and did this. That happens all the time. I'll just get like random texts, be like, you need to send your headshot and resume to this person right now. Tell them that I sent you, blah, 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 and sometimes I'll get an audition. Sometimes I don't.
Were you always this outgoing and open, even as a kid? I mean, I know you said you always wanted to be an actor, but...
I'm not as outgoing as I was now. I actually was a little bit more shy when I was a kid. A little bit more reserved. And even when I moved out here, I was a little bit more shy, just because I was like, oh my God, I'm in LA. I'm in the city. I don't know anyone. Just with all the experiences that I had, and just as you get older and as you get in your 30s, you just don't give a anymore. And you're like, this is what I like. This is who I am. And if you don't like it, I'm not going to change for you.
What is something that would surprise people to know about you?
Surprise people didn't know about me. I'm a Middle Eastern belly dancer. I was a hip hop dancer. And I said I was a voice actor. I do different voices. I do like demon voices, creature voices, like witch cackles, all that. I had a voiceover audition before you guys came over here. That's pretty funny. This probably won't surprise people, but it might. But I'm very spontaneous. And me and my two best friends, Daniel and Elmer, we actually call ourselves spontaneous, because Daniel is kicking himself because he did this. He made me and Elmer watch this movie called Spontaneous. And then we got in our heads like, oh my God, we have to live life. We have to like enjoy life. So now we will just spontaneously do things, and by do things I mean we will book flights and just go on these weird trips. We went to Salt Lake City a few weeks ago because Elmer was like, this day is not ending until we get on a plane somewhere. So we just were Googling places and we went to Salt Lake City, and then Daniel messaged us and was like, oh, we're all gonna go to Key West for the weekend. So I was like, okay, now we're going to Key West. Like today we're going up to Bend, Oregon, because me and Elmer watched the documentary The Last Blockbuster, so we want to see the last Blockbuster video store. So we're driving up to Bend after this. We're gonna stop in Sacramento and it's not just trips. Like I'll get like texts from like Elmer and Daniel being like, we're gonna pick you up in 15 minutes. We're gonna go to mini golf. We're gonna like go do an escape room. We're going down to San Diego. We're gonna do this. And I think you need that. And I think, unfortunately, we've been taught that doing that kind of stuff is bad or irresponsible.
I love it.
Yeah, right? Because you need that. You need to travel. You need to go to different places because you can see different people have those different experiences. Like, do I have the money to be doing these trips? No, probably not. Do I sometimes worry how I'm going to pay my bills? Yes, but you know what? I worried about that during COVID and before COVID, and I'll worry about that after COVID and all of that. That's just life,
But I think the spontaneity is healthy because it keeps you fresh, and it
Yeah.
fits so well with the energy that I'm getting from you that I love everything about it.
Right?
And the trips are reminding me a little bit of your story as it's progressed through us talking about it, because you started in your intro saying how you did voiceovers and how you were an actor, and then it, became the theater part that you introduced, and then the stand-up comedy, and then the dancing.
My whole getting out to LA was spontaneous.
And like I said, I feel like the progression of this conversation and all of these next things that I'm learning about you, and then just to top it off with all of the traveling, it just brings it full circle.
Yeah.
So again, I really appreciate you taking the time today to sit down with me. This has been such a fun conversation.
It has. Anytime.
I have enjoyed every minute of it. Can we do it again?
Yes, please.
So I do have one final question I'd like to ask before we part ways today. As you are going out on auditions, or on your spontaneous road trips, or just being you, what if you were walking down the street and had the opportunity to hold up a sign that says one thing? What would you want people to know about you?
That's funny that you say that. I actually do have a sign that is kind of like my motto in life. It's behind you, maybe. Omar, you can hand it to you, and you can hand it to me.
Back here?
Yeah.
Oh my God! You really do have a sign.
I do.
Oh, stop it right now!
And it has a story that comes with it. Can you see it? Is it in frame?
Let me pan out a little bit.
So
Can you lift it up?
It says "Silence supports violence"
Right there
on it, and I got this sign during last year during the Black Lives Matter protests. I went there with my little adopted cousin Julian to protest. It was his first protest. His mother gave him all of these rules about, okay, what happens if Auntie Joe gets arrested? What do you do? Don't. Joe's got a big mouth. Don't keep him away from the bigots. But someone handed me this sign to hold, and I was like, oh my God, this is so perfect. Because this was how I was raised by my parents. My parents always taught me that if you see something that is wrong, if you see someone that is doing wrong, speak out. Because I truly believe that when good men say nothing, that's evil enough.